Greetings everybody and welcome back to the Walking Dread, and this is another settlement building episode, and I'm gonna try something different here. I kinda pre-recorded all the footage and I'm gonna try to just talk about what my ideas were, my thinking while building this stuff, and just speed up the footage a little bit and see if that works a bit better, because just, uploading 2-hour videos or something may not be the best. So Graygarden, this is where we are right now, and I wanted to set up a little bit of a settlement, put down some houses, some gardens or agriculture fields, and we kind of have to work with a little bit of a hill here. We don't have to, there are a couple of flat spots here, but I thought it might be kind of interesting to try and build along this sort of cliff we have here. So I just started out with a couple of these wooden foundations. Just get some sort of shape going of kind of random platforms, and trying to climb up the mountains sort of, and then just see how I can fill in some of the buildings later on. I already started building or placing one of the houses on the left side there, kind of out of view right now, but yeah, been trying to figure out how I want to climb this mountain. I tried out different stairs, going different directions, and just see what works best. At this point I was like, okay, so I have this spot over here, I might as well try to fit a house in this corner if I can. There's this sort of rocky foundation in the way, unfortunately, so it's a little bit trickier to kind of squeeze in a building there, because the plots for Sim Settlement are actually quite big. Will probably be a bit easier to design my own houses and place them there, but I just wanted to use some of these Sim Settlement buildings. Unfortunately, the platform was floating, so it wasn't really touching the floor, so I decided to just build some of these wooden platforms underneath to kind of give it a little bit of support. It's not snapping or anything, but it looks like it has some support, I think, so it's probably fine. One thing I really like in building things, in most games when I build stuff, is having different levels of your base kind of connecting with each other. So there's different ways you can walk to a certain location. So what I tried here is, instead of just having that main staircase on the left side that leads up here, have a little bit of a smaller staircase at the bottom as well, that kind of leads up to the same place. It was a bit tricky though, because we have this sort of little bit of a hill there, and the stairs kind of sink into the ground, unfortunately, and it was a bit tricky to just get somehow up there. So I tried to use some of these ramps, see if I could maybe just build a little bridge up there, but I kept getting stuck. You can kind of see that I tried to walk up there, and I thought, oh, maybe I'm getting hit by those tires, or maybe there's something else in the way, maybe this platform isn't low enough, but I couldn't quite walk up these wooden boards. So it was a little bit of a finicky job, so I tried out a few of different platforms, and eventually one of these curved ones just works pretty well. It gets you up there pretty easily, so no problemo. And of course we don't want our settlers to fall down while they're up there, so I just put down a couple of walls for now. I think later on I want to build more buildings that connect to each other as well, so I'll probably have to take down some of those walls. So at this point I had 2 houses, they're kind of working. We don't actually have to connect them with powers. It changed recently, in the newest Sim Settlement version. The first level of houses don't actually need power, even though it shows it requires them, but it doesn't actually. So I tried to figure out how do I want to approach from here, because this hill is pretty steep, and most of the stairs we have didn't quite align well with the hill. So I tried to set down some foundations. I was like, maybe I should put down this kind of a concrete wooden platform into this rock. It looks a bit weird, it wouldn't make too much sense having that the big concrete block inside a natural rock. So I'd take that down eventually and replace it with something. But yeah, I've been trying to figure out here, how do I want to approach this? So I was trying out some of these stairs, just as a sort of a giving you some grip when you walk up these hills. And you can see the other stairs don't really align perfectly. They get pretty much sunken into the ground too much. But eventually I was like, oh, wait a minute, I have more building blocks in the thematic and practical category. There's a lot of cool things in there. So I was just looking around if there's anything interesting, and sure enough, there are some really cool platforms. We can use stairs and some angled kind of like foundations, I guess. They also snap really well to the other foundation I put down, so I kind of use it as a base block. But I still had, like, even after putting down some of these curved things, I was like, I still have trouble getting up there. And then I found this really cool staircase that's already like really curvy and has one of those angled platforms too. This one doesn't snap to a foundation, but I just decided at this point here then that I would just, rearrange everything else to match this staircase. And then I just kept building some of these like angled foundations onto each other, trying to kind of create a curve, because there's a little bit of a curve on the hill. Maybe getting around there and kind of going back more into the settlement again, because we were kind of on the edge here already. It was very close to the borders of the settlement, so I had to kind of loop around a bit so we can place more things there. Since those foundations don't really snap to each other, I just like squeeze it in. Sometimes, it doesn't have to be perfect. It can just be like squeezed in a little bit and it looks just fine. Looks like it may be intended this way, so not too bad. I put down another like wooden platform here, and I kind of wanted to lower it a bit because you saw it was like floating again, so it was sticking out a bit. I could have put down another foundation to like block it off, but I figured just changing some of the height here would be kind of nice to just make it a bit more interesting. So I just put on some stairs, and yeah, it works pretty well. At this point I wasn't like really sure where I want to go with any of this. I was just like checking, okay, what kind of options do I have here? What kind of building blocks do I have? Do I just want to like loop around and just build a house up there, or what do I want to do? So I was just experimenting with this. We have these really cool support beams, so you can kind of build your own foundations if you want to. But later I realized, okay, this floating platform doesn't really have much of a purpose, so I changed it out for something better. And I'm still trying to figure out here how I want to kind of give this a little bit more support to let people know, hey, you can actually walk up here. But I didn't really find anything useful until much later. We'll see that in the end product. I figured I'd put down some tires to just give that some support. It looks actually really nice. So at this point I was like, okay, so I'm really far up in the air here. I should probably lower it again, so I tried to just build down again. I think I was actually at this point I was just like I was kind of expecting that this just goes down again and there wouldn't be anything else here, but it seemed a little bit empty after a while, so I was like, you know what, there's a lot of room here. I may as well just put down another building if I can, another residential plot. Had a bit of trouble at first to align this properly the way I wanted it, but eventually I just decided to remove some of those wooden boards and place down a longer kind of strip so that the building can kind of snap to exactly where I wanted it to be. Just move some things out of the way that I didn't need at this point, like this defense tower, but yeah, it fits in very nicely. It doesn't overlap with anything else, so should be fine. And of course putting down some fences to make sure our settlers don't fall down while they're like walking home drunkenly or something at night. So some of those curves we created up there behind that house kind of left like a big open spot. So I was like, I could put down something in between just to like fill it in and not have huge gaps. I figured, okay, this may be a little bit crazy, but what if I just squeeze in one of those wind mills and, get a little bit more power? And I thought it fit in quite nicely. May not make as much sense, maybe, because the wind would probably really not be as strong in that corner. But I just thought, it's very, it fits in that corner and it looks very dangerous and mashed together, and that's exactly what like these kind of settlements are supposed to look like, I suppose, or at least that's what I want them to look like. And I tried to figure out, there's a little bit of a scaffolding that wraps around the windmill at the top, and it would be kind of cool to just put down a platform on top as well to use that space. And just maybe at first I was like, okay, maybe like the maintenance guy is going to build like a little bit of a setup up there, so if this thing breaks he just has this little setup on top. But eventually I just decided to turn this more into like a defense post, I suppose. And once more, issues with aligning some sort of stairs or slopes, they always had a weird angle. I wish there were some more different angles ones, so you could like have some steeper or flatter slopes. I don't know what the what the opposite of steep is. Just so you could have some low or high elevations would make this a bit easier, but I just managed to somehow squeeze it in there, and it seemed fine in the end. Some of the scaffolding at the bottom was pretty exposed, so I was like, maybe I should just wrap it around some walls onto it or something to make it look a bit more blocked off. Kinda tried out some different ones here. We have these ones with a little roof that sticks out. I think that gives us just some little bit of depth, but I also tried to mix in some flat walls in between and just see what that looks like. Once I had that filled in, I was like, okay, we'll probably need some more defenses, so this seemed to be a perfect spot to start building a wall. I really wanted to kind of squeeze that guard post into the wall, so that's like part of it. It kind of like helps block off the settlement, and someone can stand on top and like look over the wall and, you know, take out all the walkers and whatever attacks this place. So nothing super fancy, just very similar to what we did in Sanctuary, where we just put down some of those walls and lower them into the ground slowly as we go down this hill to make it look a little bit better. And I also turned off the snapping in some cases, so I can actually like curve it a little bit rather than having it complete straight. Sometime later I decided, okay, I think it's time to go even higher. We still have a little bit of room there. You can kind of see the border though, the settlement border. That's as far as we can go. But there was this like little rock formation up here, and I really wanted to put up some house there, and I wanted to build my own using these boxcars. There's very modular pieces that you can use to kind of create your own house, so I really wanted to use them. And yeah, so once we were up on this hill, I just checked out some of the pieces we have, because I never actually used these boxcars, and I also added a mod that just gives us more options for these. It's a very like modular set, so you can actually create some really cool looking connected boxcars. So I just was like looking around, messing with a few things, and see if I can just come up with a pretty simple structure for now. I didn't want to go do anything fancy. And yeah, I decided in the end that was the shape I was going for. Very simple, more like a T shape, I guess. And I wish there was a piece where one of the walls had like a little cutout for a window. There may be one, maybe I just didn't see it. I could maybe create my own somehow. I suppose I could add kind of leave it open and then add like a wooden wall against it. You know, someone like attach it to the boxcar. I think that will work. Maybe I'll revisit this at one point and replace it, but for now it's fine. And of course, the same old struggle. How does one get up here to the boxcar? I couldn't find anything that's like nice elevation again, so in the end I figured it's actually not really difficult to walk up there just on my own, so may as well not use any and just leave it the way it is. And then I started decorating. Didn't really have a plan at first. I was just like checking out some of the furniture we have. I think that's like part of just learning what kind of building blocks we even have. Like I don't quite know yet all the different decorative items we have or building blocks. So it may take a while to actually like get used to some of these and then revisit some of the older buildings at a later point and just replace some of the things I placed with better ones that I discovered on the way on, like after building a bunch of houses. But I found a lot of like these little nerdy things like comic books, computers, holotape, shelves, that kind of stuff. So I figured, okay, maybe this is more of a nerdy place. Some nerd lives here and just has all his goodies lying around on the ground. And then the final thing I did is just decorate that little platform I put on top of the windmill. Again, originally I was going for more like a, I guess, engineer's platform, but somehow it ended up being more like a guard post, I guess, with a chair and some sandbags and some other like ammo boxes and other boxes just lying around containers. Oh, I actually totally forgot about this. This is actually the last thing I built. I wanted an outhouse, and I think there are some pre-made outhouses in this that we could put down. But I kind of wanted to build my own little sort of ghetto outhouse, I guess. I don't remember why. I think I saw something. I was looking for things that increase happiness, and I was like, okay, this toilet apparently increases happiness, so maybe I should place some somewhere, but I didn't feel like just putting them down in the open. So yeah, I just built my own little outhouse. I used one of these corner walls, and then I blocked off one of the side with those diagonal wall pieces that you can attach, and just slapped the door in front of it. It doesn't actually attach to it properly, but thanks to like place everywhere and stuff, we can just place it in there, squeeze it in there, make it look like it's sort of attached, and it will still work, which is nice. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It took me quite a while, actually. I think it was like 2.5 hours or something. I'm pretty slow when it comes to building. I think most of the time is spent in menus just trying to find the right pieces, because there's so many different places where different pieces are located, especially like the wooden stuff. It's like in the wooden section, there's under the normal wooden stuff, the vanilla stuff. Then there's the master plan category where we have the vanilla extensions with wooden stuff. Then we have the thematic and practical section. Then we have the homemaker section. Like there's so many like different menus with wooden pieces. That's pretty tricky to find. It would be really amazing if we could have some sort of mod that overhauls the workshop UI just by a lot and have like a search box, but I figure that's not possible with the tools modders have. But oh well. Eventually I'll get fast at it. Again, it's just a matter of figuring out where everything is and then just memorizing it. But yeah, just try to, you know, do something different for once, rather than recording everything and uploading everything. I don't know if I'll do this a lot though, because it is a bit of work. I mean, it's a lot of work because I have to like cut it together now and sync up all the different audio clips with each other and so on. And maybe it's even more interesting to have the longer versions where I kind of talk about more of my thoughts at this moment and, you know, like build something, take it down, and then have a reason for why I took it down. Maybe those things help as well, rather than just showing the end product. But yeah, just wanted to try something different and see how this goes. This one is definitely nicer for me sometimes because I could just watch a movie or whatever, record me building, and cut out the audio later because I don't need my microphone or the game audio in this, so it's not going to interrupt it. Well, let me know what you guys think of this. Next episode, I think I'll go back to Graygarden, just show everyone as well, just in case, you know, people didn't watch this settlement video, just to give an update as well. But I figure if you want a more detailed look into what I thought and everything, then this should help quite a bit. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. See you later. Bye bye.